Tonight on Texas News Channel, an update on the coronavirus in Texas.
Will you be able to pass-fail classes now?
And UT President Jay Hartzell's salary gets approved.
You're watching Texas News Channel.
Your leader for live, local UT coverage. Good evening and welcome to Texas News Channel. For Tuesday, November 24th, I'm Alexa Sherry.
And I'm Nicki Miller. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Austin-Travis County is moving back into Stage 4 COVID-19 guidelines following a spike in cases last week. In Stage 4, all social gatherings and non-essential travel are recommended to come to a halt. Restaurants and other businesses are also recommended to reduce their capacity to between 25 and 50%. This change comes at a time when many health officials are concerned that holiday travel could further increase the surge in cases.
Yesterday, the UT Faculty Council passed a resolution approving changes to grading policies in response to the pandemic at an emergency meeting Monday morning. The changes allow students to change classes to be pass-fail until December 9th and still have them count towards their degree. The resolution also allows students to Q drop a class and not have it count towards the 6 Q drop limit. The resolution now awaits final approval from the president and provost.
UT President Jay Hartzell will be raking in a whopping $1.2 million salary this year, $250,000 more than the salary of his predecessor, Greg Fenves. Hartzell was officially announced as UT's new president this past September, where he was earning $795,000 as the interim president. Hartzell's new salary makes him one of the highest paid university leaders in the country. The Student Emergency Fund helps students in need of financial aid during COVID due to factors such as losing jobs or not being able to afford school technology equipment, which can make online learning challenging. TNT's Erica Sykes spoke with a group of students who are wanting to expand the Student Emergency Fund.
Since COVID-19, the Student Emergency Fund has seen an increase in need that has changed a lot of their process. A student group on campus is starting a petition to open up the fund to even more people on the 40 acres.
There are undue burdens in doing this application because it's asking for personal bank statements, it's asking for notices of termination, and this is a lot of paperwork that you need to get your hands on and you need to kind of upload into the system. Anyone could use $300, $500. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it should be so dire that I need to see a negative balance on your bank account or something like that.
The fund's director stressed to us how widely its resources were used when COVID-19 hit back in March.
As long as someone applied, we were going to make it happen. And so that money was used rather quickly. You know, typically we're looking at $300 to $500, but we are able to go up to $1,000 if there is appropriate documentation for a new emergency. We recognize that emergencies are ongoing. And a student could experience multiple emergencies in their time here. However, the emergency fund is primarily supported by donation.
Though these groups differ in opinion on how to apply this aid, their common goal is to help students here at UT Austin.
My team is educated in being a case manager and being able to really look at what does the student need and find those resources to support them.
I think every single kid could use a little bit of money right now, just like every single American citizen can. And I want to make it easier for those who need it to receive it, if that makes sense.
Directors of the Student Emergency Fund told us they are doing everything in their power to help students financially during this difficult time. With the start of this new petition, only time will tell if change can and will be made. From Texas News Channel, I'm Erica Sykes.
Last Friday, the Texas State Board of Education made changes to the state's sexual education curriculum. The revisions to the curriculum, which had remained unchanged for 23 years, include more focus on prevention through contraception and more information on diseases. Although school districts are not required to teach sex ed, the changes allow for more freedom in teaching.
As the city of El Paso deals with overflow of COVID-19 cases, 36 National Guard personnel were sent to provide relief. El Paso Mayor DeMargo announced that cases are increasing rapidly and the National Guard will help facilitate the city's mortality management. El Paso currently has 300 people in urgent care due to the COVID-19 virus.
Here at UT, the demand for proactive community testing has steadily increased throughout the semester. As the COVID-19 testing program approaches 5,000 tests per week capacity, students and staff are no longer guaranteed a walk-up test. Longhorns must now make an appointment online in advance if they want to be sure that they will be able to get a test.
This past weekend, the original Gerber baby, Anna Turner Cook, celebrated her 94th birthday. According to the company, a contest was held in the late 1920s to find a face to represent a baby food advertising campaign. Cook's neighborhood entered a sketch of her that she created, and the judges fell in love with it and insisted the face remain as a sketch. From all of us at TNC, happy birthday, Ms. Cook.
8 people were left injured after a shooting in Mayfair Mall outside of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which took place this weekend. A 15-year-old suspect associated with the shooting was arrested by police on Sunday and taken into custody. Shots were fired at the lower level of the mall. 1 teenager and 7 adults were injured in the shooting. According to police, there was an altercation between 2 groups. In addition to the teenager who was arrested, several other suspects were arrested in association with the shooting. This case is still under investigation as more is being unraveled.
President-elect Joe Biden announced his cabinet picks yesterday morning. Biden picked Alejandro Mayorkas to lead the Department of Homeland Security. Mayorkas is the first Latino to lead the DHS. Biden also picked April Haynes as the Director of National Intelligence, and also the first female pick for this position. Janet Yellen is also the first woman picked for Treasury Secretary. Biden has picked a diverse cabinet and says they are all equally as experienced and crises tested as they are innovative and imaginative.
The Trump campaign requested another recount of Georgia's presidential election votes after the state certified the results Saturday with a recount by hand. Georgia allows candidates to request a recount if the margin of victory is within 8.5%. Biden won the state by only 2%. In recent weeks, Trump's team also filed lawsuits in key battle states like Pennsylvania, claiming voter fraud, with the lawsuits so far being dismissed based on lack of evidence.
Pint Prairie is a small pocket prairie located west of the Student Services Building. The organization talks with TNC's Stephanie Molina about what they do and about their upcoming prairie burn. Let's take a look.
The Pint Prairie is an educational model of a blackland prairie that once used to cover most of Texas. It was planted on campus in 2019 and has been led by students since the beginning. Members of the Pint Prairie tell us the importance of the project.
But however, we've seen post-colonization that its treatment and its survival hasn't been compatible with things like cotton agriculture and cattle ranching or urbanization, or like breaking up these natural systems of disturbance that it requires to be healthy, or even just like the introduction of non-native species has really hurt this ecosystem to the point that it's critically endangered. Less than 1% of it still remains. And so I think it's a very important part of Texas's ecology.
The Pint Prairie are hosting a burn that will cause disturbance to the land in order to return nutrients back to the soil.
And then you get like this thatch that builds up, this like last year's growth. And eventually, if you don't have something like buffalo grazing or stampedes, or in some cases like cattle grazing, or in the best instance, periodic fire, then this thatch builds up and new growth can't happen.
These burns happen every 3 to 5 years and will help the ecology of UT campus.
We look around on campus and all of this like was once prairie. It's like really shocking to see how much that's flipped, and that like when you see a prairie on campus, like that's what's shocking. So I think kind of like recognizing the damage that's been done there and starting to shift the momentum back in the other direction.
Stephanie Molina, Texas News Channel.
Coming up on Texas News Channel, Stephanie Molina will be bringing you up to date on the world of business.
So stay tuned, and we'll catch you right after the.
Hello and welcome back. I'm Stephanie Molina with your business update. Although the stock market has been rallying since the recent excitement surrounding the effectiveness of the coronavirus vaccine developments, the market's fate this week all depends on the outcome of shoppers during Black Friday and even Cyber Monday. As of yesterday, the Nasdaq index is up around 22% and the S&P 500 index is up around 56%. This Thanksgiving week, it is predicted stocks will continue to struggle with the latest surge in COVID-19 cases. Tom Lee, the founder of Fundstrat, credited that the Thanksgiving holiday traditionally kicks off holiday shopping with Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Yet with the surge in new cases, many will be staying home and not going into stores. JP Morgan economist expects that once the coronavirus vaccine is distributed, there will be a stronger second and third quarter in the new year. Additionally, markets are turning to see if there will be news on a fiscal stimulus package passed through Congress. If a package is not passed, then employment benefits for 12 million Americans will stop by the end of December. With the hope of a vaccine on the horizon, investors will believe the economy will heal once it becomes available. On Friday, the French government announced that they will be postponing Black Friday after many shopkeepers declared that Amazon has been stealing business from them since France's coronavirus lockdown. Amazon held more than 20% of the French e-commerce market during the third quarter, giving it the biggest share of any online seller. Other big retailers held back from agreeing to postponing their Black Friday sales until Amazon did. The government hopes the postponement of Black Friday will help booksellers, clothing shops, and other non-essential business that had to shut down during the second national lockdown after new cases surged. Black Friday has been delayed for a week and is now December 4th in France. Austin upscale hotels are facing a 25% guest capacity. This time last year, guest capacity was 80%. Many events that would bring visitors to Austin, such as ACL and Formula One races, were canceled due to COVID, leaving hotels with less room booked. With guests that do arrive, hotels implement COVID practices to make sure guests are safe.
Our initial policy was every guest room, regardless of length of stay, prior to their departure, we had closed out that room for 24 hours completely. That way we could deeply sanitize and stickers placed on doors so you could tell when housekeeping has and has not entered. We implemented contact tracing, so any guest came on property, we had full contact and address for.
And that's your business update. I'm Stephanie Molina, reporting live from the Business Center. Now over to Faith Osberg for weather.
Well, Longhorns, will 2020 at least give us nice weather on Thanksgiving? Or will it continue on its path of unpredictability? I'll let you know when we get back. Stay tuned. With the end of November sneaking up on us, it looks like the weather is in our favor. Thankfully, there haven't been too many cold days in Austin, and that pattern is set to continue through Thanksgiving celebration. Today was a little dreary, and nothing seems to be too different tonight, with a low of 58 degrees and a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms after midnight. While tomorrow, you can expect to see a sunny day with a high of 74 and a low of 47. And as luck would have it, on Thanksgiving Day, there is set to be sunshine with a high of 84 and a low of 65. On Friday, we will likely see some rain as there is a 70% chance of participation with a high of 76 and a low of 59. As for this weekend, you can expect to see scattered thunderstorms with temperatures in the high 60s and mid to high 40s. So grab those footballs and get ready for a weather-friendly holiday break. Live from the Weather Center, I'm Faith Osterberg, TNC News.
Thanks, Faith. And now looking at UT sports. Although Texas football is in the home stretch of its season, Texas basketball is just beginning. The women's season begins Wednesday at 1 p.m. at home against SMU. And the men's team begins to play just a few hours at the Irwin Center against UTRGV. Men's basketball head coach Shaka Smart spoke to the media today on how he sees his team looking this season.
Again, our whole program is very excited. I think one of the biggest things that's come out of this is an appreciation for some of the things that, maybe we all took for granted before, like the ability to play a scheduled basketball game. We, as a program, are continuing to work to build to become more and more connected around a common cause. And when the games start, that obviously intensifies, but it's very important for us to not take for granted the fact that, certain things can pull people in different directions. So just staying connected around what we're here to do as a group is something that we've been talking about quite a bit.
And joining us tonight is Justin Morris. Welcome in. Starting off with Shaka's team, many are saying this team is primed to have their best season yet, but sometimes it feels like a broken record saying that, as many say that about each team Shaka has. So what makes this team different than the past Shaka-led Texas teams?
Experience. That's the biggest difference. Shaka and Texas are known for being a one-and-done kind of school with the likes of Kevin Durant before Shaka was here, and more recently Jared Allen, Jackson Hayes, and Mo Bamba. And while there is potential one-and-done on this team in Greg Brown III, he's a little different than most of the other one-and-dones Texas has had. His gameplay is still seeking maturity. He's fortunate to have some key role models this season to help him out. Senior guard Matt Coleman is without a doubt the leader of this team, and throughout his time at Texas, he's carried himself as one. I got to talk to Matt and Andrew last week, and they described how Greg Brown comes to them constantly asking for help and play, sometimes texting after practice and whatnot like that. And in the past years, it has felt like the one-and-dones at Texas have sort of a big man on campus, while Greg Brown continues to remain pretty humble and lets his game speak for itself. Texas has some tough opponents this season in Kentucky and Villanova, and even in their own conference in Kansas and Baylor. This season should be an interesting one, and the pandemic will only make it more unique. But outside of potential postponed or even canceled games, there really is no excuse for Shaka to make a big statement this season.
So now moving over to the women's team, as Vic Schaefer makes his coaching debut for Texas, how will this team fare in a competitive Big 12 race this year?
Well, last season, Texas really got swinging at the end right before the tournament was canceled due to the coronavirus. But they still decided to shift gears and make a head coaching change with the addition of Schaefer, who was previously at Mississippi State. He brings a rich resume and knowledge to this Texas team. Texas will have some tough competition in Baylor and Iowa State. And the Baylor games for Texas this year will be especially huge for Texas, as Karen Aston, the former head coach, never could beat Baylor while she was here at Texas. If Vic Schaefer can make a statement by taking down the Titan that is the Lady Bears at least once this season, then they will be on track to make a statement not only in the Big 12 but in the tournament. Another thing really motivating this team is Vic Schaefer has done an incredible job of recruiting for this year. It's currently ranked number 2 recruiting team in the country, and just looking forward to next year as well. The sky's the limit for this team, and I personally am very the Longhorns can bring this season.
Thanks for coming on, Justin. Up next is Maggie Wolanski with entertainment. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Texas News Channel. I'm Maggie Wolanski. Last Wednesday, a male Wipeout contestant died after completing the show's obstacle course. The participant was on the set in Santa Clarita, California. Before the show, contestants undergo medical exams, and the show has on-site paramedics and doctors. The contestant reportedly experienced chest pains before noon, and medics had to use a defibrillator on him. He was then transported to the hospital and later died. Production has been paused last Thursday and Friday and continues to be paused this whole Thanksgiving holiday. A TBS spokesperson told the Post in a statement that they are devastated to have learned of his passing, and our deepest sympathy goes out to his family. Season 17 of Grey's Anatomy will focus on the staff of Gray Sloan Memorial Hospital battling the COVID-19 pandemic. The showrunner, Krista Vernoff, told The Hollywood Reporter that the producers and directors decided to have Meredith's illness bring attention to what many healthcare workers are experiencing across the world. Here's a little sneak peek of all the thrilling action.
God forbid this gets any worse. If I fall asleep, I'm afraid I might not wake up.
Mayor?
Mayor?
Hey! Megan Thee Stallion's new collection with Fashion Nova made about $1.2 million in the first 24 hours. The new clothing line focuses on premium denim look with corseted bodysuits, tops with matching pants, dresses, and outerwear. Megan told Essence, "Not only am I able to bring my signature look to all the hotties out there, but I was also able to create beautiful clothing that fits bodies of all shapes, sizes, and heights." The 106-piece collection has a price range of $25 to $200 and is available for purchase on the Fashion Nova website. During the winter break, what could be more important than what you're watching? Well, a lot of things, really. Netflix has not stopped adding content since the beginning of quarantine. Let's get into some of the trending titles and what you can look forward to going into the break. A number one, we have The Crown, which just had its 4th season released. It focuses on iconic Princess Diana. In number 2, we have The Queen's Gambit, which is a Netflix original series focusing on a young girl's rise to stardom in the world of chess. It has kept the attention of many viewers for a month now, with its topping the charts since it has been released. Number 3 and 5 are family content with Boss Baby, Back in Action, and Coco Melon. Number 4 is Survivor, which is seeing a huge bump in popularity after it was finally added to Netflix. At number 6, we see American Horror Story rise with a newly released season. Rounding out the top 10, we have a classic like The Office, We Are the Champions, America's Next Top Model, and 60 Days In. Hopefully, this encouraged you on your binge-watching journey this break, so watch responsible. That's it for me with your entertainment news. I'm Maggie Walensky. Now back to you.
Thanks, Maggie. And as always, we thank you for tuning in.
You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Texas News TSTV.
If you have a news tip, you can reach us on all our social media sites or email us at news@texasstudenttv.com.
It has been an unprecedented semester for us all over here at TNC. Thank you again for supporting student journalism. I'm Nicki Miller.
And I'm Alexa Sherry. From all of us at TNC, good night, and we'll see you next year.